So for our first drawing, I will have to rely on the time-lapse supplied by Procreate because I did not screen record as I'm going to be able to do later on in the video. That completely slipped my mind, so enjoy this little time-lapse while I basically blab on about my characters. So for this first one, I'm going to fix this later. Her neck is a little weird. And that is because I draw on paper before I import it into Procreate, and then I digitalize it there, because for some strange reason I cannot draw on Procreate without a sketch to save my life. So I knew I wanted a tabby cat, and I knew I wanted a little white patch as I'm drawing in here, because I'm honestly a sucker for little unique patches. I don't use the bucket tool. You could see me redrawing over the sketch, or at least under it, because the brush that I use is a textured brush, which means it is not completely solid. So using the bucket tool does not particularly work for me. So I have to redraw under the outlined sketch, and basically then I can bucket tool it, which honestly I'm fine with, but I usually use a different color. As you saw, I used pink there. Any random color just so that I can actually see through the outline and make sure I'm not going over or like drawing outside of the lines. I do later match that patch a little bit more to the textured brush, because right now it's still bugging me how smooth it is compared to the actual textured stripes. I do fix that later on. Honestly, I'm one of those artists that likes to give their characters voice claims, or if you don't know what that is, basically just give them a person that they sound like. And for me, I'm not sure how many people are gonna know who this is. I will link a song, one of my favorite songs from her, down in the description below. But I imagine her sounding like Leanna Firestone. And I can't explain why. I just really think Leanna's voice fits her really well. As for her personality, I honestly imagine her being more like Rapunzel from Disney's Tangled, where she's like more bright and optimistic and resilient, as well as stubborn. And here's how she turned out. I really hope you like her because I know that I do. Now, moving on to Marshpool. For him, I also forgot to screen record. Only for him, it was only up until after his line art was finished and a base coat was put in place, which you can see right now. I also forgot to add some of his scars that were from his original design. For Marshpool, he was actually one of my first original characters that I made, where he was actually meant to be in the Warrior Cat fandom, or universe, sorry, but now that's kind of changed. He's more of in my own personal Warrior Cats universe, which has 3 clans instead of, it's been a while since, I think the original books have the main 4 clans and then Sky Clan. Yeah, mine only has 3, which I will get into later on. For Marshpool, he had so many renditions. You can see one of them I'm using as a reference there. He had so many renditions, and I can't remember if I cut out some of the other ones, because it has been a while since I originally recorded the video. One major change that I made, despite keeping him somewhat accurate to his original design, were I made him more accurate to the breed that I initially based him on, at least mostly based him on, which was an Oriental Longhair, because Oriental Longhairs, from the visuals and research photos that I found, are not as muscular as I initially made him. They're pretty lanky. They're pretty lanky, not lengthy. And they usually have really long legs, which I tried to keep for him. I'm not sure how well that translates here. He does have some Bengal genetics in there, if it's not too hard to tell from the original photo there. Which honestly does not make total sense considering he was born in the wild. But who needs logic when you're working with warrior cats? I just wanted his silhouette to be more true to life and more closely resembling the original breed, so he's not too far gone. Especially with how I changed Leaf Song's original design from being a more peachy tone with her fur to a brown tabby. I did try to keep her eyes very similar to her original design, as in, like, she originally had green eyes, which I wanted to make a nod to that. Essentially, her eyes now are more a yellowish green, so hopefully she has some semblance of her old self in her. For Marshpool, he's a half-clan cat, which, if you have not read or don't know anything about the Warrior Cats universe, is a cat that was born of mixed blood from 2 different clans. So for him, in my universe, there are 3 clans. There's Cavern Clan, Aspen Clan, and Drift Clan. For Marshpool, he is a Drift Clan cat, but he has some Cavern Clan in him. Drift Clan is essentially as close to River Clan as you can get. It's based on a river system that runs through one of Cavern Clan's largest caves, and that water comes from the mountains with all of its snow and ice. So for him, he's incredibly used to fishing and all that, except that he sees himself as more of an outsider because of his half-clan roots, which Leaf Song, coming from Aspen Clan originally and joining before meeting him, she's very used to the tunnel system that Aspen Clan has under the roots of the trees, so she's also seeing herself as some sort of outsider, but she's pushing him to actually meet other people, or cats in this case. So I just think they really work together, and I like how they get along. For these two, I really want them to be completely free of trauma, because as an artist, I'm pretty sure any artist will relate very heavily to this, where we try to give our characters some semblance of character building with their backstories and giving them some trauma to build them as a character. And I don't want that for them. I want them to have some character building, of course, but like, I don't want them to have any trauma. I love these two and their future kits. I love them. I don't want that to happen to them. So they're one of the safe ones. For Marshpool, he also has a voice claim, which I can hear him as Kenny Chesney. I'm kidding. That is no. There's no. I don't picture him with a southern accent. That's someone else entirely. For him, I picked Tyler Glenn, who is the lead singer of a band called Neon Trees, and I listened to their song Holy Ghost on repeat for so long when I was making this art piece. that genuinely I can't hear anything else for him now. It's just, that's him now. He's Tyler Glenn. Tyler Glenn is him. That's all I hear. Now, congratulations, we've kind of made it to the end of all that I had planned to talk about. As in, I had a very loose script of what I wanted to talk about, and I've kind of run out of it. So I guess I'm just gonna yap about anything. So I can sense someone's going to ask me this eventually. For my outlines, outlining the sketch, I used Procreate's 6B pencil brush, but I changed the stability, and it's been so long since I used the original brush that I genuinely forgot whether or not I made the stability longer or shorter. And then for the stripes for Leaf Song and the bangle markings for Marsh, I used the chalk brush that's also supplied by Procreate. I'm trying to remember if there was any others that I used. I think those were the main two that I always use, and I cannot move away from them. I just really like using textured brushes. That's something about my art that I cannot get away from. I just like how it looks, because using fine brushes or like solid brushes just seems too, I don't know, I just really like sketchy stuff. Technical pen that's also supplied by Procreate is the closest I will get to a solid brush, except that it has on the outer edges, it's a softer brush. It's like a softer touch to it that that's as close as it's gonna get for me. I don't know. I feel like for future videos, because I want to keep doing this, I feel like for future videos, I will most definitely I will record my screen, because I like how it looks, but I will probably do one character at a time, because both of these took about an hour, 40 minutes to do, and when I was screen recording Marsh's progress, you can imagine how long that took to export into iMovie before exporting it into the editing app I'm using right now. And yeah, that took a few tries to actually properly export without it crashing on me. There was so much footage that I had to cut out just to make this as long as it is right now, and I don't know how I'm gonna work this from now on, but I'm definitely gonna have to get creative here, because this was a pain. I can see why people don't like editing their videos. Although on the topic of videos, I'm not entirely sure if the next video itself will be about their kits, because I know I want to draw all 4 of them. I don't know what I'll make them look like, because those are still a work in progress, especially with his genetics and hers. A tabby, and then you have the Oriental Bengal mix. I don't know how they'll look. I think some of them will have a longer snout, some of them won't. I'm not entirely sure yet. That's still a work in progress. We'll get to it. But I'm also a multi-fandom artist, so it is not a guarantee whether or not, if you stay around, that it will be warriorcats. It might be my own characters, it might not be. It might be, if I get back into drawing humans again, something, I don't know, creating a Genshin Impact character maybe. I like playing video games. Sue me. Do not sue me. But yeah, it might not be what you've seen in this video. It might be, who knows. If you want to stay around, I would greatly appreciate it. Like, subscribing, you can always unsubscribe later. I won't hold you to it. But like this video maybe? I would greatly appreciate that. because it would help my channel out a ton, considering this is the first video I've ever made. Maybe even share it if you're feeling ever so kind in this holiday season, because it is, oh my god, it's almost Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, okay, wow. I might do a Christmas video if I have enough time. Who knows? Although now that I think about it, I could also maybe make animatics with my characters now that I have some video online to hold me accountable for actually posting frequently. Because I really want to animate. That was what I wanted to do when I was a kid after wanting to be a veterinarian. But animations are daunting, and I will definitely try it, even if it is way out of my comfort zone. Maybe even just making shorts on YouTube. That would be fun. That would actually be really fun, actually. I could do that. You can see me rambling on because I have no script here. This is just... my ADHD is taking full effect here. It is taking me hostage. Getting back to the video, at least. You can see me trying to blend in just to make it seem like it's not as harsh of a color system going on, so it's not just white to really, really dark brown, and I'm trying to make their colors more coherent, I guess. Just so that they look better together, because, I don't know, you can't really have on-screen couples not look like they belong together. I mean, now I'm put on the spot, I can't think of any couples online. Like Daphne and Fred, like the purple and blue, that they work together. The orange and yellow hair, that works together. Brown and brown, that works together. I tried to make their eyes match each other a bit, so hers are more like desaturated yellowish green, and his are like a dark bluish grayish tone. You can see why his name is Pool, even though he has no blue on him, no gray. I like the concept of having deep eyes, I guess. I don't know. This is coming from someone with gray eyes. I just like unique colors. Really pretty colors. I like the way his eyes turned out. Especially hers. Yeah, I think they turned out pretty good in the end. Still have not figured out where he got his scars from. I know they're just battle scars, but I like putting a story behind where characters get their features from. And I'm not sure, but I did try for his body, where his body scar is right there. I tried to make it seem as if his long hair is covering up most of it, because I remember coming across a tutorial on how to properly draw fur and scars together. So this is how he ended up. I really do like how he turned out. And I tried to make his background a blue that kind of matched his eyes and went well with her background, which was an orange, if I remember correctly. And here are the two together. I honestly really like how they turned out, and I'm glad that I kind of portrayed his long legs and her more stout appearance. I like how they turned out. Let me know what you guys think, though. And I'll see you guys maybe in the future, if you choose to stick around. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.